People in our area are still recovering and cleaning up after the historic flooding back in April. If you were affected by the storms, you have more time to apply for disaster assistance from FEMA. This morning we have Robin Smith with FEMA to fill us in on all that's going on. Robin, good morning.
Good morning.
This is such an important topic to talk about, especially because of all those recent storms. Tell us a little bit about what we're talking about this morning.
Well, anyone who suffered damages between April 28th and May 5th, whether they are a homeowner, a renter, or a business that perhaps had economic damage during that time period, needs to register for FEMA and FEMA assistance. And that to do so, you can do it by calling 1-800-621-3362 or go to www.disasterassistance.gov or m.fema.gov, and any of those ways you can register. If you're someone who's already registered, we have indeed extended the deadline until the 15th, and much of the reason for that may very well be because people are now getting back responses from their insurance companies with the determination of what their insurance companies are going to pay, and then they are wanting to get that paperwork to FEMA, and an easy way to do that is for them to then take it to one of the local disaster loan operation centers, and there's one in Alberta, one in Fairhope, and one on Museum Drive in Mobile. That's a quick way to do it. If they have any questions, they can also get those answered there. However, I want to make sure that people understand, even when those have closed, that you can still get all your questions answered by calling that 800 number.
Very important. We'll have all that information on our website. It's phenomenal news for the people in our area that the deadline has been extended 15 days to July 15th, but it is also a short amount of time, so you want to get the process started right now, correct?
Please do it immediately, because the original deadline was actually going to be today. So there were enough people who were still coming to the centers and still registering online that we knew we needed to keep it open for a brief period of time longer.
One other thing we want to touch on this morning is not just what happened with the most recent storms, but also preparedness for the future. You had some tips on that. One
of the main things that I wanted people to think about is many times those who end up registering for FEMA assistance are actually insured. Most of the time they're insured, but many times they're underinsured, and a lot of us don't think about that. We'd all like to have the lowest premiums possible, so we don't stop and think about, we just remodeled our home and made some really nice improvements until something like this happens. And say you just made your kitchen look just absolutely beautiful with all the nice granite and beautiful new cabinetry, but you didn't let your insurance company know. They are still thinking that you had the older stuff. That's all you're insured for. So when you go to actually apply, you end up finding out that your insurance maybe isn't going to provide quite as much coverage as you thought you had. So I would encourage people, talk to your insurance person and make sure that you got your insurance updated. But I probably used a bad example there. I want to mention to people that they need to understand that their flood insurance and their homeowner's insurance, which is commonly required by their mortgage companies, are two different insurances. So if you are thinking that they're one, they are not. If you happen to have both, be sure that you've applied for both. And if you don't have flood insurance, definitely take a good look at the likelihood of this happening again, and whether you want to go through this all over again.
Right, and definitely in our area there are plenty of flood zones as well, so keep that in mind. But the main thing is keep your insurance up to date, number one. Number two, this registration deadline extended to July 15th. So you see the information on the screen right there. Again, we will have that on our website. We want you to apply now, register now, so you can get the assistance that you need during this difficult time following up from those spring storms. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely some important information that we wanted to get to y'all this morning.